Most equipment training looks like slides or a video or reading a manual, and then we expect people to just figure it out when they get to the job. So for this example, I wanted to show you how I created an interactive that lets them explore the machine and get to practice looking at different ways that they can use it and understand it. So in this example, you'll see just some of the static training materials that you might encounter, like a manual that they have to look at, or just a little training kit or a video, or just a image with some descriptives. So how do we make this more interactive? In this scenario, I brought in um, basically some audio and make this more fun, but we're going to start the training so they can be able to click on the parts and learn more about them. And it just is more exploratory. It's a little more interesting and engaging. And then they get to learn inside the cab. So what this does, all these things they can hover over before continuing. And now they're actually going to do an inspection, which is something they would have to do before they actually started the machine. And so it's going to give them a chance to click these items off as they're exploring them. They can see with this interactive what it should look like, what it shouldn't look like. So that's one way to bring in more activity. So you can see here if it's not ready for use, and as they click them off, they would actually click off their checklist just as if they were in the field before moving forward. So then now they're going to have to identify the unsafe condition based on what they saw in the previous slide. So hopefully they would see, oh, nope, that's not it. And then this one, yeah. So once they've identified the unsafe conditions, now they can actually learn the basics of operation. And now they have to go in the correct order to start the machine. And it's just going to teach them as they go, and they would need to pay attention because they will eventually have to put those in the right order on the next screen. Now with the engine running, they would learn the controls. So this is going to teach them how it moves forward. They would be able to hover these, see what they do, and then they can click this one and what this one does. And then continue. So for this interactive, I built this with AI, and I thought this was really cool because it forces them to click the correct order. So in order to complete this operation of moving forward, turning right, turn left, and reverse, they'd have to click the controls in the correct manner to move forward. So if they clicked here, this isn't right, that's not right, okay. So then yes, that means move forward. So then what's turn right? Okay, and then turn left, reverse, right? And then we would need to lower the bucket and then curl the bucket up and lift the arm. So it has to go in the correct order for them to move forward. And then you get to do a final challenge where they get to apply everything they've learned in a game. And this is actually very similar to real life, right? So they don't get hotspots in real life. So I made it where they would actually have to go and find these things. So tires, checking the tires, are these ready for use? True or false? They're not, got too much debris. And then I would be able to check that off. And then hydraulic hoses, where are those at? Is this safe to operate? And then the bucket is properly attached. And they could answer some questions. And then fluid leaks under the engine. Look for those. And then they could continue. So that would be just like in real life where they would complete an inspection. And then they'd have to start the machine in the correct order. So based on what they've learned, they'd have to click it in the correct order to move forward. So then once everything's completed, they've completed the game and the task, and then they can move forward. And now they would be ready for the field. So just a more interactive way to get people to explore the machine and have fun learning about it. I've made this template available on the Genially community so you guys can use it, and also check out my interactive on there that forces you to pick the correct pattern before moving forward. I hope you find this helpful, and thanks for watching.